Hello everyone, I'm doing a live, which I normally wouldn't do a live at this time, but I'm actually in Melbourne. I'm normally in Perth, Western Australia. I'm in Melbourne and I'm at IFSO, which is a bariatric, I suppose it's a federation. Hello everyone that's jumping on. I wanted to do this impromptu live and I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I am just posted in my stories and I'm learning some of the things that I've learnt today, and I wanted to share them with you because I'm at IFSO, which is essentially a federation of over 70 bariatric associations, and it's a conference. I'm in Melbourne, day one down. I'm in my hotel room, just about to jump in the bath, but I thought I'd jump on. So welcome everyone that's jumping on. If people don't know me, my name is Jane Stoltze. I'm the Bariatric Nutrition Coach, and I've actually got notes. I've done myself little notes because I sat in a conference room today listening to lots of presentations and have learnt a lot. So I wanted to share a few things. One of the topics was to weigh or not to weigh after bariatric surgery. Do you weigh yourself often? And so the topic was, do we get people to weigh themselves, or is it a positive thing to weigh yourself up regularly after bariatric surgery, and how often? And just that whole topic of weighing and being linked to that dieting for years, jumping on the scales all the time, and how does that affect you and how does that improve every day, 7 weeks post-op? Thank you so much. How does that improve outcomes and the whole journey after weight loss surgery? And so there's a few really key things that I took from this chat. And one was that it's really an individual choice and we need to chat. And I do with my clients individually, what is the frequency that's going to suit you best? Now, it does my mental health 2 years post-op. So, part of this discussion that was in the conference was for when people go back to their bariatric centre, and that was part of it. But for me, I'm taking this into what I chat about and educate online and also in my client space. And yes, so Jean's point, I think it's an individual. Personally, I have to weigh regularly to keep me motivated. The research shows that weighing regularly in the weight loss phase, this is what the data and the research shows in the weight loss phase after weight loss surgery, doesn't have any impact on weight loss. But weighing at irregular intervals in maintenance after weight loss is seen to be beneficial to helping people stay on track and help manage weight regain and not going in that pathway. And so that's what I call self-monitoring. I call it relaxed self-monitoring because ideally we want to get to a frequency that is really good for you. But exactly, Jean, that's what I do with my clients. Look at seeing what's that frequency that's going to work for you. Okay. And for me also, I always talk about, and I've said this before, it's really looking at what's your relationship with the scales and how does it impact you. Beautiful, someone said in Slimming World now once a week. So yes, once a week, once a fortnight, or that's bi-weekly, whatever that frequency is in that long term, that can really suit you. And if you start off in that weight loss phase and you're weighing every day, not a problem. It could be just something that you work towards if you would like to not be jumping on the scales. But it was a great conversation today of a lot of different, there was psychologists in the room, one surgeon, I think, but dietitians, nurses, and it was really great to have a chat and say, what does the role of weighing ourselves regularly have in our bariatric journey? And I think it is really individual. So that's the first one. The second one is going to be probably something you might not think about very much, but there was a lot on this today, and it was talking about the loss of lean body mass or skeletal muscle after weight loss surgery. And when you are high body mass index before surgery, your body has more skeletal muscle, it has more lean body mass to carry around your weight. And with weight loss after weight loss surgery comes loss of lean body mass, skeletal muscle. They are different things, but I'm just going to say them kind of in a general together. And that also relates to loss of strength. So that's why we talk about not only having a great diet after weight loss surgery and having adequate protein and good nutrition, even when you're in that weight loss phase, it's also to keep up, one might be to keep up, but also to introduce, for many people it's introduce activity. And if we're looking at activity, often what's prescribed or you're given to do is aerobic, the huff and puff, but we want to bring into that resistance activity that helps keep your strength and helps keep your lean body mass. And that means you can sit in a seat, you can cross your arms across your body and stand up easily. If you're laying on the floor, you can get up. Or that functional strength of being able to carry some heavy bags, pick up your child or your grandchild, if that's something that you've struggled with before. Really, it gets easier as you lose weight, but also there is that need for us to build in that activity from a huff and puff, but also from a resistance activity. So what's really important is to know is in that first 12 months is when you're more likely to lose most of that lean body mass and that skeletal mass that you could lose, okay? Jean's put, that's what I don't have is the strength. Yes, and so that is where that resistance and strength training comes in. Not high weights, not really big stuff, but that resistance so you can develop and then keep your lean body mass. So first 12 months is where you're more likely to lose most of your lean body mass or skeletal mass after your weight loss surgery. And also what's really key is, yes, that resistance activity, but also quality of protein. And I've talked about this, and so it's really lovely. I learn new things at the conference, but also it reminds me of the things that I know that I need to keep talking about, which is quality of protein. Leucine is a key amino acid that is super important for muscle synthesis. And so when I'm banging on about supplements and I really talk about how whey protein isolate is a really key source of protein supplementation if you need it or whenever you do need it, and that collagens aren't cutting it. Collagens have good research for hair, skin and nails, but they are not high enough in leucine, and also that they are not a complete protein. So that was really great. That was a very in-depth, and quite a few speakers spoke on a lean body mass, and we have an exercise physiologist come in, so I thought that was really great. And the third thing I wanted to talk about, and it wasn't in my stories, because I did a few slides in my stories. I just took a couple of slides that I thought may be of interest, because some of them you'd look at and think, what is that about? I was introduced to the exercise physiologist, talked about the concept of activity snacking. Has anyone heard of activity snacking? Because I hadn't. I'm like, we all talk about snacking and grazing, activity snacking. So if you can put a yes, put a Y or a yes in the comments of activity snacking. If you have, chances are, I don't know, I hadn't heard of it. People next to me hadn't heard of it. So general guidelines for activity, and this is for just general guidelines. It's not for weight loss. It's just for health. It's for general population, 150 minutes of activity per week. And so when we think about that, we can think, oh, okay, well, I can do 3 big chunks of activity, but that's such a big, if you haven't exercised for a long time, if you haven't made that time, but also it's just physically, it's hard and you're getting into exercise, that can seem really daunting. It can really be a challenge to venture into that. And the exercise physiologist talked about activity snacking and talked about it doesn't have to be in big chunks. It can be 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there, and really just looking for little segments of time to do activity, and that builds up. So I thought that was really great because we want to really remind ourselves that even if it's 10 minutes, we can think ourselves, well, it should be 20 minutes, it should be 30. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there can really help. And that can help not only from a time constraints, but also physically. If you feel like after 10 minutes, that's enough for me, that's fine, that's great. You are working towards your goals. So activity snacking, and also he talked about when you have really rigorous activity, that kind of counts as double. So that high intensity activity where you cannot talk, like you're really puffed, you've really pushed yourself, that counts as kind of like, or you would need 75 minutes in the week to then equal 150 minutes, if that makes sense. 150 minutes, you're puffed, but you can talk. Rigorous, you can't talk, you are really puffed. And so that's high activity, and that means if you did that, it'd be 75 minutes. So I hope you found this useful. I'm going to do a few lives this week because I really wanted to share what I'm learning for people that like to hear a little bit more about what's research coming out, different aspects to the health and the research side of bariatric health from a nutritional perspective. Today is probably the most nutrition focused day. The other days are going to be quite surgical, but there will always be something for me to take away because I need to understand all the different surgeries, all the different procedures, and I bring that into my client work. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this was of value. It's a bit different topic because I'm in my hotel room just about to jump in the bath and have a lovely time. Well, I've got to do some work, but you know what I mean. Have a lovely time. I don't have to look after child or puppy. So thank you so much for listening. I will be back later in the week and I'll be posting things in my stories. Please, send through any questions you have. Thanks so much. Bye for now.